Stugotz is out with a toothache. That's Zaslow playing the Stugotz role of adjusting his microphone noisily as soon as he sits down.
It's really the Greg Cody role.
Yeah, getting comfortable very quickly. Greg Cody also not here today because he's busy with draft coverage. He's reading Athlons and seeing what Mel Kiper says so that he can make all of his exacto picks. But this criticism from yesterday. Le Batard Show has never showed its stupidity more than in Monday's local hour when scolding a New York Jew about food and having the son of a prominent local attorney question the necessity of notaries. Your mother being a partner in a law firm as you sat here and argued against notaries and then incurred the wrath, Chris, of the notary community. You were getting some stern talking tos on the internet about the importance of notaries.
Yeah, the least surprising thing ever, Yeti is a notary. My dad's producer. He was quick to tell me that. It's just, I don't feel like I dismissed it as, I just was like, people that do it think they're super important. And I don't really like the vibe that people that are notaries, they like to tell you that they're notaries. You know, I realize it has value. I super serious. All the people sending me links to videos. Hey, watch this video and then tell me notaries are not important. You know the fraud that it fights in this country? Back off, all right? It's not that important.
I do think there's a self-importance that comes with people who are qualified.
They love to tell you.
Did they notarize their complaints?
No, so I don't even know where it came from.
I've never had a person walk up to me and say, I'm a notary.
Yeah.
You're a secret notary. People are notaries and you just don't know they're notaries. Who are these people? You see people walking around with shirts that says notary. They wear crowns. Like, what are you even talking about?
I'm just talking about when it comes up. People love to say it if they are.
What was the first part of the complaint that was sent to you?
Scolding a New York Jew about food.
No, before that.
Has never showed its stupidity more.
That's not true.
It took a while to set up that joke, Jess.
Well, you didn't start with the beginning of the sentence like I
my
asked.
fault. Yes, of course, my fault. I get it.
Yeah.
Yes, I get it. Usually, I'm used to blaming you, but yes, my fault. I don't remember Monday's local hour scolding a New York Jew.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who that
food.
was.
What is that? I don't have any recollection. Not the best way to start, incidentally, after 4 one-goal games in hockey, 2 in overtime, 1 decided by Ovechkin. That's a pretty good hockey night.
What a night.
A lot of people talking about Kawhi today, but that hockey night?
Hockey did its thing last night, man.
I don't know why
4 one-goal games?
I don't know why you guys aren't afraid of Ovechkin. I don't know why you guys think this is going to be an Uberdo offense that's going to be in the playoffs.
I got to get there first, right? Right now, the series price on most sports books is -110, -110. This is a total pick'em series going on right now. The 2 teams that made it to the Stanley Cup last year appear to have some challenges in front of them.
I believe that just about everything right now should be pick'em in hockey. Just make it all pick'em.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. You can't go out, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the yeah. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but man's keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. Right, girls, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Zaslow is weirdly confident about the Miami Heat winning Game 2. I believe that the best rooting interest for the Miami Heat the remainder of the playoffs is, Detroit can win that series. And New York is afraid of games at home. They have played games at home this year. This team is not as lovable as the previous one, and it starts to tighten up at home. They've lost a lot of 20-point games at home, and Detroit would like to announce its presence with authority. 17 straight years not doing anything in the playoffs. 15 straight games they'd lost. They've gone to the postseason 4 straight times and gotten swept. That's nuts. But let's get to last night. And is this Sean McDonough calling the Ovechkin goal in the best possible way that you could call an Ovechkin goal?
Well, there are a few things that Ovechkin hasn't done. Not many, but he's never scored an overtime game-winning goal in the playoffs.
Really interesting here. He's on the shooting spot on the left wing. The Canadians have Demidov and Laine on the ice, a rookie and a player not known for his defensive play.
The puck is free, and a great chance for Beauvillier. Ovechkin scores! Now he has that playoff overtime goal. What else can he do? Washington wins 3-2.
15 seconds between him saying Ovechkin has never done that at the age of 39.
The one thing he's never done. Oh, he just did it.
Before we talk about Kawhi entering the chat, surely Mike, Roy, and Zaslow ate up and slathered all over their chest some hockey last night.
I mean, what a sport. Like, what do you even say?
The best.
What a sport. It's what, the third day of the Stanley Cup playoffs?
The Panthers still haven't played yet.
Right. The main event's tonight, by the way. But 4 games yesterday, all decided by 1 goal. 2 of them in overtime. 1 of them was an Ovechkin winner. I don't understand how he's still doing that. And another one was a 4-0 game late in the second period where Edmonton comes back and ties the game at 5 with under a minute to go, only to be answered by the winner from L.A. 20 seconds later.
That was terrible defense.
What a sport.
Terrible defense by the Oilers. Terrible puck management. Terrible goaltending. They somehow almost won that game.
And that goal from McDavid to tie it. I don't even know how it got in past the goalie. How did it go in the net?
You asked a couple of good questions. Ovechkin, how is that all possible at 39? Jessica, Billy, World Roar 4. Are you guys in?
What?
This is the 4th time we've done this bit. Yeah, World Roar 4. Yeah, this is the 4th straight time.
The Panthers?
That the Panthers and the Lightning.
You were not familiar with the Panthers and the Lightning tonight?
You haven't. The show always calls this playoff feud.
I thought that
Roar.
we were past the Lightning.
Well,
I thought that we were better than the Lightning, and we didn't give the Lightning any mind. This is loser mentality.
That was last
making
year.
this a
No.
series.
Last year's shirt was World War III.
Yeah.
Our group chat has a good feeling about this one.
The Lightning aren't shit to me. I'm just going to come right out and tell you right now. We have surpassed the Lightning. They're not a formidable foe. They're a joke. I don't take them seriously at all. Strike me by Lightning. I don't care. Nothing's going to happen to me. Lightning are soft. I'm not giving them any mind. I'm not paying attention to them this series. On to the next round.
That is terrible analysis. However, I do believe it's the analysis of Roy, Mike, and Zaslow as well.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Billy. I've been saying that all year.
I mean, I'm on the same level as Billy as far as the Lightning don't mean shit to me.
All right,
Thank you.
stunning that you guys would be uniform in this.
But this is going, I think it's going to be hard as hell.
No.
I think every single game starting tonight, I'm going to have anxiety for 60 minutes.
You guys are really disrespectful. You guys are disrespectful of things accomplished in the past, just generally.
Yeah, I don't live in the past. I live in the present. Lightning ain't shit.
I mean,
Right,
I would fear them in a hockey series.
I would love to wear that shirt. Just walk into the building. Lightning ain't shit.
This is going 7. I know you guys are trying to be tough, but this feels like a 7-game series.
It feels like a difficult series. I mean, the series prices all reflect that. And while Florida may be top to bottom more talented than they were last year, they still got 88. He didn't have the greatest series the last time these two teams played in the playoffs, and
Florida's a reason why, though.
Yeah, Florida's going to be getting some guys back, but some guys that haven't played in a while. Some hugely important guys like Matthew Tkachuk, Aaron Ekblad.
What are you guys expecting from Ekblad, given that you guys know now that he was terrible during a time when no one suspected anything from him other than expectations to be better, and then he was great, and then he was popped for PEDs?
Right, so saw him have a career resurgence, and shortly thereafter he tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. I imagine that performance-enhancing drug thing got cleared up during the suspension, and he's probably not on that stuff anymore.
I hope he still is because he's been playing great.
Yeah, so I don't know. And you keep in mind he had a longer layoff. Same thing with Matthew Tkachuk. There's new players on the team, new lines that are going to get formed. So we'll see. I do think it's going to be a tougher, longer series.
I think it's going to be a blessing for them. Tkachuk with the time off, Ekblad with the time off. 3 straight years they're trying to get to the Stanley Cup final. Essentially 3 straight years they're trying to play like an extra 20-plus games than the regular season. And we saw the way both of them, by the way, broke down in the Stanley Cup final 2 years ago. And now for each of them to have a couple of months off before the playoffs, I think it's going to be a benefit. I really do.
Roy, who are they going to have Marchand with? Who are they going to put him with?
They're probably going to have him on the third line. I was hoping that he would be on the second line, but they're probably going to put him
Do you think
on
with
the line.
Lundell and Lustranen?
Yeah.
Put him on that third.
I want him on that second.
Why do you
Nah,
want a
the
guy
third.
with 1 goal on the second line?
2.
I just want to see what it looks like.
2.
Him,
Oh,
Bennett,
bad.
Chucky. That line, Mike. Come on, Mike.
Now, you want him on the third line because then Tampa Bay, you don't have to worry so much about matchups if you're Paul Maurice because you got 3 lines now that the other team's like, damn, I don't want to face those guys.
And you keep in your back pocket moving him into that second
you
line.
could always do that, yes.
One thing I'm
I
curious.
just want to see him on the same line, those 3.
One thing I'm really curious to see is Kucherov had another outstanding season. Book on him, though, is he's a power play merchant. Florida really neutralized Kucherov last year. He was very frustrated.
Well, that's their thing. Like every series that they win, it's they neutralize Draisaitl. They neutralize Kucherov.
Panarin, all these
that's
guys.
Their thing. They neutralize was Zibanejad. That's their thing.
That
just-
was not an English sentence you just said. I don't know what
Neutralize
the verb was.
Zibanejad.
No, that there were there were some Z's in the verb there. Mike, I thought you wanted Marchand on the train line right out of town, not the second line, not the third line. I thought you wanted him on whatever a line is that takes him away from your hockey team.
Look, he hasn't been good as a Florida Panther. He just hasn't.
Oh, I disagree.
I don't
Yet.
think-
Oh,
no,
I
he hasn't been
disagree.
good.
There's
he hasn't been
still
good.
time.
He hasn't been good. He's not a better player than
I
Mackey. He's not. He's a proper third liner on merit, maybe.
I totally
Maybe.
disagree. I think he's been very good. You're only counting it by him scoring 2 goals, all right? I mean, give him a little bit of time to mix his way in with the team. He's been super active. Like, we're getting shots on goal here. How about the passing? The plays that he set up?
I'll tell you,
He's been very good.
We got activity for days. Like Brad Marchand,
Okay.
that's been a lot of the analysis. Wow, Brad Marchand brings activity to this. Florida's been great on that.
So
on
you
that
feel like
front.
more activity is something you don't
I
want?
feel like he's not as good a skater as he once was. I feel like he's certainly not the type of offensive threat that he was, certainly not even last
He's
year.
24 goals
and
on
on
the
top of
season.
that, he's got a really stupid face, and I don't like him one bit.
Oh, there it is.
So,
Look,
finally.
stupid
like, if we
face.
want to scratch his ass,
Finally.
we can scratch his ass, and we can get Greer in there because I like Greer more.
It's not going to get scratched. Ooh, Greer?
Even Greer likes Marchand more.
No, Greer doesn't like Marchand
Mike,
more. No one likes
he's
Brad
our
Marchand.
rat now.
No, he's not mine, Brad.
He's
Not my
our
rat.
rat.
Do something. Do something in the playoff. Do something, and then maybe you could possibly be some of my friend's rat, but you'll never be my
I'll
rat.
ask you this then. Let me ask you this then. How many minutes into tonight's game, the first game, 'cause this is why they got him, all right, is starting tonight. Not random regular season game number 75. They got him for starting tonight. So how many minutes into tonight's game do you see him behind the net in a scuffle doing dirty rat stuff, and you're cheering it because he's our rat now? Because it's coming.
We have plenty of people that do that. We didn't need more.
Now they got another one.
I think Mike
got a
walks.
worse one.
I think Mike walks this back by game 4. I think he sees 4 games of playoff Marchand, and he's just like, all right, I like him.
So you want the Panthers to scratch Brad Marchand for a fourth line forward.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I want to scratch your third line forward for a fourth line forward that I think is a better player because Brad Marchand's not a good hockey player
He had
anymore.
24 goals this year.
He didn't score like that for Florida. He's not a good player, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I don't like him, and on top of being a bad hockey player, he's a worse person.
Oh my God!
All right, I need this to get under control because the hockey playoffs haven't even started for the Panthers yet, and already
Lightning ain't shit.
No, well, wait
Thank
a minute.
you.
Just hold on a second, okay? Because our Angel, our T-shirt department's moving too slow because Angel sent me this morning, "Pop the campaign" on the New York Knicks T-shirt from a few days ago, the campaign, pop the campaign, but they've lost since then, so the timing on that isn't great. Angel, right now, lightning ain't shit, and I don't fear being struck by lightning. I want to see them in the T-shirt shop before the end of the show today because I can't believe what you guys are doing, how disrespectful it is to a team in Florida that taught you how to win by beating your head in and changing your entire blueprint.
Please, they haven't taught me anything. I'd love for them to be in the T-shirt store in the next 5 minutes. The problem is this. Series going to be over by the time you get that. This thing's going to be fast and furious. I'm telling you, 4, maybe 5 maximum. This is not going long, this series. Mark my words.
Zazzle, do you want to hear yourself trying to say the word neutralized among a bunch of hockey names that you were scared of pronouncing?
Yeah. They Neutrava was Zibanejad. I don't remember.
That is how it
that.
happened. That is the word.
That's dubbed.
That's not dubbed. That is how you
Ironically,
said
you got the foreign
That
name
is
right.
how you said neutralized. Let's hear that again.
They Neutrava was Zibanejad. I'm on national radio. I'm a professional
We
broadcaster.
just heard it. We heard it together.
I would never say it
all
like
of
that.
us reacted that way.
They Neutrava was Zibanejad.
Jessica, why are you making a face at Zaslow saying I'm on national radio?
Because she feels bad that I'm being taken advantage like that because it's not real.
I was actually just thinking about the time I saw Zibanejad on the LIRR
Neutrava was Zibanejad.
with Capo Caco.
It is a great sentence that has neutralize as a verb in the middle of it, and it's not said correctly. He bailed like Stugotz halfway through the word.
They Neutrava was Zibanejad.
Billy, it's good to have you back. Are you feeling okay? What is the story with the draft this weekend? And Stugotz in Tennessee, he left yesterday early with a toothache, and I'm afraid it's going to take him out. And I don't know how much confidence you have that he will be showing up for the draft in Tennessee with you.
Well, the read I have says this Thursday night, join Billy, Mikey A, and Andrew Hawkins live from the DraftKings Sports and Social Nashville, 128 2nd Avenue North. Live stream begins at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on the Le Batard Show YouTube channel, presented by Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly with the Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. So it appears, though, Andrew Hawkins is coming and not Stugotz. So you can join us in Nashville.
Upgrade.
Come say hi and watch us on YouTube for the draft Thursday.
Whoa, Chris Cody, show some respect. What do you mean upgrade?
He is to Andrew Hawkins.
That's not an upgrade.
I mean, from a football analysis standpoint, maybe not.
It is not an upgrade except from a probably show up standpoint.
Yeah, well, it's certainly in the looks department and quickness.
Man, I have been taken aback by how much the ladies like Andrew Hawkins. Like, just, I know he's nice to look at, but how much he's nice to look at has taken me aback. People are behaving around him the way they behave around Method Man. It's a little...
He's much better looking than Method Man. Like, come on. What are we even doing there?
Well, you
think Method Man is better looking than Andrew Hawkins?
Put it on the poll.
You sound old.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Okay, and you sound male. At Le Batard Show.
Ouch, burn.
No, I'm saying that your opinion here, it will not line up with the internet. I assure you.
Method Man is the internet in 2025 is swooning over Method Man.
Every time he appears on an award show, yes, is the answer to your question. And it's quick and easy, and it happens every single time he appears in public. At Le Batard Show.
What awards is he up for? Does he still do anything?
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Yes, he's still in Wu-Tang.
He's an actor.
And he does, yes. You've come back very hot and heavy here after a few days off. You've taken out...
Just being a man.
The Lightning, and you've taken out Method Man.
Very dismissive.
Yeah.
No, I mean, respectfully to Method Man.
Not respectfully.
How so?
It was disrespectful.
I'm agreeing with Billy. It was a random poll to be like, Andrew Hawkins, he's as good looking as, like, if you would have said fill in the blank here, I wouldn't have gone to Method Man quickly.
And fine. I'm saying to you, the reason that I'm pulling out Method Man is because the reaction to Andrew Hawkins every time he appears on our show reminds me of the reaction to Method Man anytime he appears on our show or anywhere, because he creates a great deal of longing and lechery from the internet. I'm not making that up.
No, you're absolutely right, Dan. I'm siding with you on this one. That is not a random pool, Chris.
It sounds like Andrew Hawkins is not that good looking.
That's where we are on things right now. and I'm okay with it. But it does also sound like he has healthier teeth than Stugotz, who, again, yesterday complained of a toothache while eating crunchy bacon and complained of a toothache while smoking cigarettes. That happened both times yesterday.
I'm still envisioning that one lone tooth smoking its own cigarettes.
I would say in the 20-year history of this program, that Stugotz has had maybe 25 root canals.
Well, this one looks like it's going to take him out for the whole week. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what happened in basketball last night, because it was really nice to see Kawhi Leonard play like that and remind you, oh, he's better than Jimmy Butler and younger. So he goes 15 for 19. He beats the world's greatest player in their building. Shaquille O'Neal had too much olive oil last night and ran off the set. Penguin ran off the set, a 7-foot penguin, ran off the set to go to the bathroom because he just, live television, he confused all of the people on the set by just, we've all seen that run.
That's funny because I had my YouTube TV set up where I had 3 games on, so I didn't have the sound on that one. But I saw them replaying this video of him, and I'm like, he has to poop.
That's
I
right.
didn't even need sound.
Right.
I'm like, yep, he's scurrying away to poop.
Ernie shouted, maximum professional, I don't like his gait, because it was clear to everybody on television that he had to go to the bathroom. Also clear, some advice that Charles Barkley gave a camera directly last night. Nico Harrison, stop giving press conferences. Such good advice.
I like, though, how he prefaced it with, I like you a lot. You're my friend. And then he tells everybody, at the same time as telling him, you need to stop being stupid.
That's right. And good advice. That's what friends do. Usually more privately than that. Often more privately than that. But here is the commentary after Nico Harrison has given a press conference in which he said he knew there would be backlash on Luka, but he didn't know how much backlash. He knew that the city had a relationship with Luka, but he didn't know how close the relationship actually was or how much it would hurt. He underestimated
So
it.
he had an open-door press conference after he had the closed-door press conference. I don't understand the press conference strategy at all. How about no press conferences?
Okay, so you're a journalist. I'm not. I'm dopey. Can you help me understand? Because I have that question too. How last week do you have a closed session? You handpick which media members are allowed to come to the closed session. No video, no recorders. And then yesterday, everyone's invited. Everyone can record. So, like, literally, from a journalistic standpoint, what is the thought process there?
All right, let me take you through some of this, because when you say journalistically, I believe this is a bunch of people who are in over their head, who are getting just dragged by a public relations problem that they don't have the ability to solve, because you don't want to put the owner. You don't want to put the owner's nepotism in front of cameras. So this is your face. This is your new Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban used to handle all this face and voice stuff for you. It didn't even matter who the coach was. And so now you've got a guy that Mark Cuban hired, but Mark Cuban is distancing himself from doing all the public-facing stuff on this, because now he is simply a receptacle for all of the bad stuff. They don't want ownership around this stuff. So let's start with Nico Harrison and what it is that he had to say yesterday in the open-door press conference as opposed to the closed-door press conference.
I didn't know that Luka was important to the fan base. I didn't quite know it to what level. But really, the way we looked at it is, you know, if you're putting a team on the floor that's Kyrie, Clay, PJ, Anthony Davis, and Lively, we feel that's a championship caliber team, and we would have been winning at a high level, and that would have quieted some of the outrage. And so, unfortunately, we weren't able to do that.
One of the things he said that we didn't even air is just flatly, I think I've done a good job, which you just can't give Piranha that kind of meat right now. You cannot keep this story out there every time you speak, because we need to feed on something, and any sentence you say, we will take. It's why Charles Barkley's given him good advice. Zaslow, your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that Cuban has completely, in my opinion, has completely skated on all of this. If you want to blame Nico Harrison, fine, deserves all the blame. You want to blame new ownership, fine, deserve all the blame. But how does Mark Cuban get to just be the former owner who sits there and is so distraught with what's happened to his franchise, while then also going and checking his bank account where he sold the team for $5 billion to these people? So let's start there. If you have an NBA team for sale, there's no shortage of buyers. I mean, that's a sign of prestige in this country if you own an NBA franchise. He decided to sell to these people with no care for basketball. It's a business that's they could do what they want. But he chose to sell it to them. He chose to go with the highest bidder. That, to me, doesn't feel like someone...
A group that is questionable, incidentally.
Yes.
Like a group that you don't even have to do much in the way of background checks to be like, oh, those people, you don't want to be selling anything to those people.
But he went with the highest possible bidder, which is his right as a businessman. But if I'm a Mavs fan, I don't love that. I'd rather you make sure that you hand over what you've helped build for the last 20 plus years to someone who's going to continue to caretake that franchise in the city. He did not do that. He took the highest bidder. Again, his right. The second part, he hired Nico Harrison. The new ownership didn't hire Nico Harrison. He hired the guy who didn't know how popular Luka Doncic is. And Mark Cuban gets to just sit there all distraught. I can't believe what's happened to my beloved franchise. How does Cuban skate through all of this?
It's a good question. We'll attack it in a second. Here's Barkley saying, Nico Harrison, you're my friend. I love you. Shut the hell up.
Listen, man, I consider you a friend of mine, Nico Harrison. I consider you a friend of mine. I wish you nothing but the best. I thought you did a good job last year with the Mavs, and obviously whatever happened this year didn't work out. Man, don't do no more press conferences. Like, I don't even know what you're doing. I really don't. Like, I got sympathy and love for you, but I have zero idea what you're trying to do. This war is over, brother. You got to taking the L. I hope you keep your job. I hope that team get healthy, but man, don't do any more interviews.
So there was a closed-door meeting last week where there was not supposed to be any sort of like video or audio recording, but apparently it was like so bizarre that they were reporters that were invited were eventually able to write from their transcript and report on it. And then this, I believe, the most recent press conference where he was on camera was like the end of the season one. So that was why there were two different. But the first one, I think like a lot of reporters were saying was just kind of weird and unnecessary.
Well, why was the first one needed if he's going to do his end of the year press conference?
Probably
control it more.
Yeah, to like, I don't know.
There were some really bad answers in that one.
Get a gauge on what he was going to be asked in this one, I guess.
The gauge.
I'm not sure.
Was it Kalashaw that asked?
Tim
like,
McMahon.
It was Tim McMahon about the timeline.
Grilled him.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm just trying to use your logic here on extending your timeline. You had a championship team. Meanwhile, this team was a Western Conference champion last year. They don't make it out of the play-in this year, yet no one in the right mind would describe that as a good job.
All right, let's discuss this from this angle, right? Because what the Mavericks are articulating through their shamed face and voice right now is, we know we have a PR calamity. We don't know how to handle the PR calamity. How many PR calamities have there been in the league right now this year that are like this one? Because I'm guessing Memphis has its PR calamity, but it's not this. It's not at the core of your customer base, a detonation that has shocked the entirety of the sport after a finals appearance and introduced us to a storyline character that keeps giving us chum in the water because we can keep revisiting the shock from months ago in the sport that traffics in drama and storylines.
Yeah, and just to add more context, so Tim Cato, who's worked in the Dallas market as like a NBA reporter for a long time, I used to work with him at SB Nation. He wrote, at the end, I didn't feel it was that transparent. That's the thing that stood the most out. If you're going to do it in this way, if you're going to have just a very select number of media members, you're not going to film it, you're not going to televise it. At this point, why not be more transparent about the exact workings of the thing? If you're just going to say the same thing over and over again, defense wins championships when the defense was a top 10 defense after the trade deadline last season, that defense helped them get to the NBA Finals. So basically, like, even the reporters were not sure exactly why they went about the PR in this way. But to Dan's point, like, this is obviously a catastrophe, and so they're not handling it
This
well.
requires a crisis management team, not a PR department, not the people who normally do business for you. This requires somebody from the outside to help new ownership with a strategy that isn't Nico trying to control the local press by saying, hey, lock that door and don't bring your camera phones in here.
I think I do see the value in that the questions that were asked, the journalists were trying to follow Nico's logic in ways that if it's your end of the year presser, cameras are out there, you have your duty is to your readers and ask the most pressing questions.
You can actually have a conversation.
This one, they were like, okay, the trade happened. This was your logic. Now we have a more representative sample. How are we doing according to your plan right now? I thought they extended him a lot, and maybe that was the intention behind it.
And he just kept repeating defense wins championships.
Yeah, confused by his own moves. You could have said that he was doing a really bad job before they traded Luka. They were just 3 games over 500 on the heels of a NBA Finals appearance with some glaring needs, and they didn't address it. They didn't try to get better. In fact, they traded the most popular player in franchise. Not history, but close.
Okay, but I will also say that by giving press conference in which he simply gives you honesty, I knew we had a relationship with Luka. I didn't know it was this. Well, we all kind of found out that at the same time. Like, I know we all know that there was a relationship with Luka, but the reason that this is a PR calamity is because you have new ownership that cannot be trusted in front of microphones to care about the team correctly. They already told you what they think of it. When they made the move, nobody understands. And so there are no right answers to give in a press conference. So stop talking. Like, there's no right answer. All of your answers, wrong. You could bring the press in and try and control the narrative by saying, hey, nobody writes anything about this. We're going to bully you. Because in 2025, powerful people can bully the media. So come in this room, you don't write anything, and we're going to see if we can change this narrative by giving you all this off the record. You can't use any of this. I've been in 100 of those where they call you in and they're trying to control how it is that they get their messaging out. You cannot allow this man to keep speaking on behalf of your team. You need to put him away. That last press conference, Riley talks like 2 or 3 times a year. And the coach has got to be out there all the time. Part of the coach's job is go out there and take that beating. Meet with the press twice a day and go be face and voice for our team in difficult times. It's sort of written into the contract. You're contractually obligated to speak on behalf of our team. They got to get this guy out of public.
Well, that's why I love Zaz's point about Mark Cuban, who still has an ownership stake. He just sold a majority stake. And remember, they kind of greased the rails for the new ownership group by putting everybody at ease. Don't worry, Mark is still going to be involved in the day-to-day activities, the team, and he's still going to be a part of this ownership group. And then, I guess, slowly the public image divested. But this was actually pretty quick. And in terms of people with good public relations appeal that could speak to the fans and what Luka meant to that market, Mark should kind of be out there, unless it's the plan from the ownership group that has a majority stake saying, we don't want you around this at all. But I feel like Cuban can have actually... Yeah, he could have helped you.
He's already done it a couple of times where he's given his own interviews in different places, but all he does is back away from it. He's not helping them. He's making it worse.
He looks great by comparison.
Mark Cuban is actively making this worse for them by saying, I would have never done that. Yeah. Like, that's not helpful.
No, not helpful at all.
And he sits there behind the basket, head in hands, shaking his head when the crowd's chanting, fire Nico, as if, oh my God, this is so terrible what they've done to my team. Well, you kind of got the ball rolling.
Right. And I could kind of understand that if he were, say, a former coach that someone decided to let go, but he sold this team for a record profit.
Yeah.
It was totally his call. So I don't think you get to be like, sorry, guys, it wasn't really my call here. I'm so sorry. Like, this wasn't inadvertently your call.
I guess the point that I'm making is if an ownership group that it loves the Dallas Mavericks, loves the Mavericks, and was going to continue to do everything right by the Mavericks, if they offered Cuban $1 less, I don't think he sells it to them. I think he takes the highest offer.
Maybe $1. Maybe $1. Billy, you are staring daggers into the side of Zaz's face.
No, I mean, Mark Cuban's full of shit. Let's be real. Come on. He also, by the way, thought he was going to run the basketball thing, and then the NBA was like, nah, that's not how this works. So he's kind of like a bitter ex who still has enough to just be around to cause problems for everyone.
Well, he's also like, in Tim Marchman's story, or the ESPN story, he said that Cuban was completely pushed out of basketball operations. So now he's saying that he has nothing to do with this. He's being honest, which is what you're saying you want from Nico, but when you actually are getting honesty from him, you're saying you don't want it.
Understandable, though, that he was pushed out of basketball ops because he sold the team.
I never understand that when like people sell the team or executives or like part of former administration. Like I was pushed out. It's like that's how this works. Like they gave you billions of dollars to get. Like if you sell your house, you can't just stay living in a room of the house because you used to live in this house. It doesn't work like that. They gave you the money. Now go away.
Yeah, but this is a house that has like multiple people that own a stake in it. It's not a house owned by a single homeowner. That's the difference.
I would have Mark Cuban live in an efficiency. Like best case. Like he can live in a detached efficiency, maybe one of those like things that's definitely not legal where you like turn a shed in the backyard, you put like an air conditioning unit and then you spray like some foam or whatever. Like, yeah, this is safe. That's where Mark Cuban can live. But like quietly.
Which NBA team is the equivalent of the efficiency? Like that's who he has to now go run.
This is the situation, and Jessica has it exactly right. This is a bunch of rich people who own the same vacation home and now have the same dates they want. And Mark Cuban used to and always had first rights to I get the home whenever I want it. Someone else has moved in. He's in a guest room. He's in the cottage out back. He doesn't get the master bedroom anymore. That's a man who got used to having the master bedroom and is now saying, oh, I never built the house or the master bedroom. I never had anything to do with this, as he tried to live in the house with a less of an ownership stake, but the same power. He told us, right? That was public. He said he was going to be running the franchise.
And it ended up not being true. It wasn't possible. But I think the more apt comparison is that he bought the house and then he hired a contractor to make a bunch of updates to it. But that contractor wasn't very good at his job. And then when he left and the house fell apart, he was like, I would have never made those decisions, but you're the one that put the person in place that made them. So to your point, yes, like I think there's plenty of blame to go around.
Before we go any further on the drama of this story, just for a moment, the games last night, okay, because it wasn't just Clippers-Denver. New York is in some peril here after getting very loud.
I think they're in trouble.
After getting very loud after game one and being very loud for the last couple of years. After a Pistons-like run over the last 20 years. The Knicks are grateful for the existence of the Pistons because their playoff histories in the last 20 years kind of similar. The Knicks didn't do anything until they got Jalen Brunson. And man, did New York fall in love with Jalen Brunson. And then they started tinkering with his team, and they brought in one of the top 5 most talented Knicks we've ever seen. Just physically talented. And I'm not sure how much New York loves him, and I know they don't love him when he ain't scoring any points and a half. And so the Pistons, and I don't know, Jessica, how much of this you were watching because your man, Lee Man, is a Knicks fan, but I'd be scared if I were the Knicks because I saw what the Pistons did in a regular season game there. I saw what Cade Cunningham did in Madison Square Garden, and I've got a pretty good feeling about what Cade Cunningham wants to be, and he will be it the moment he beats New York. Like whatever it is that Cade Cunningham imagines himself to be as a star in this league, that isn't Shaq saying, I don't watch the Pistons, I don't know anything about the Pistons, I don't have to pay attention to the Pistons. Detroit Pistons Twitter account last night is sending to a Knicks account, you shouldn't be taken seriously because the Detroit Pistons are feeling themselves.
At this point, if you're a Knicks fan, I'm curious if you'd rather just lose the series to Detroit and then maybe some real change will happen in the offseason. I don't know what that change will be, but clearly this team, you went big. You're not near Cleveland or Boston. Or do you at least want to beat the Pistons and then lose miserably to the Celtics? I'm not sure which is better at this point, but losing at MSG in Game 2 like that was pretty bad for this team. And it's been sort of apparent for at least the second half of the season that like the additions that the Knicks made were not going to really move the needle on this being a championship caliber
Bridges
team.
is unpopular, and one of the things that I see happening there to New York is they don't trust their basketball team. They trusted Hartenstein and Grit, and Josh Hart will dive on the floor. They don't trust this. That this is not something that they identify with.
I was on the ESPN trade thing with Taylor this morning. How do we keep Cat but get Dante back, but maybe get rid of Bridges? And maybe we need a few more picks. I don't know how we do that. I don't know why I'm saying we. I'm not even a Knicks fan, but I do miss Dante, and he would have been helpful on this team.
They gave up 5 unprotected picks for Mikal Bridges.
This is what makes Heat fans happy. This is the greatest thing that Heat fans can feel.
5.
That's crazy.
That crowd was so excited yesterday. They make the comeback, they tie the game, and then like seconds later, Dennis Schroeder hits the 3.
You see that Kanye tweet?
Are you tired of waiting on those 3 dots every time you text?
Hello, Casanova the Ghetto speaking. Hello? Still there?
Only to get ghosted when you're just trying to reach out? Well, we've got a man who loves a long phone call.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Not only that, he hobnobs with celebrities.
Not now, LeBron.
But he's always got time for you.
Yes, Sirski. Hello? What do you need, my friend? My friend? What do you need, my friend? Hot gossip. Do you want to talk life? Do you need some advice? You want to talk basketball? Relationship advice? Say it with your chest, or get it off of your chest.
You can get all that. All you need to do is call Juju now. Call Juju now at 650-585-8669, which spells Juju now. 650. Juju now. If you're in New Hampshire, call Juju now. In Minneapolis, call Juju now. On a plane, call Juju now. 650 Juju now. That's the number. Call now.
Call with your questions. Call with your takes. You want to phone a friend? Well, guess what? I can be that friend. Hello? Hello? What are you waiting for, man? What are you waiting for, woman? What are you waiting for, family dog? Call right now.
This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Longtime observers of this particular program have seen that Billy Gill is an agent of chaos purposely in a way that makes him one of the most popular characters in show history. And when Mike Ryan and Zaslow and Roy do the hockey analysis, which does amuse me. I understand it, but it amuses me that Marchand brings activity. Like, just as an idea, I understand exactly what you're saying. And I also understand why you guys think with 2 months off, Kachuk and Ekblad might also bring activity. I want to just take inventory. Billy's been off for 7 days, and in the first hour, he's taken out the Lightning, Method Man, and Mark Cuban. 2 of them have been described as ain't shit. And Billy,
Who did I say that about?
Mark Cuban and the Lightning.
I don't think I said
Quoting
Mark
you
Cuban
directly,
ain't
please.
shit.
I believe he's full of shit.
Thank you. That's a fine. And, I mean, never mind.
Okay, good effort.
Is that a fine? I saw that Inside the NBA accidentally killed someone this past weekend.
That's a fine.
Did you see that, Dan?
I did not.
Oh, it was it Billy Ray Gates?
Yeah. Billy Ray Cyrus is with Elizabeth Hurley now.
I saw that.
Yeah.
What? Wow.
Interesting reaction to that triangle of gossip. The three
I
of you
did not
just
see that
enjoyed
coming.
there. I didn't see any of what was happening in that corner coming, where you guys are just gossiping the way you would around the fridge out there. Billy, you've been cantankerous. What is happening with you?
bronchitis.
How was the time off? Why are you in a foul mood? What's happening with you?
I'm under the weather, but I'm here. I'm a teammate. I have bronchitis. I have gastroenteritis. I'm just
bunch of itises.
taking up. Yeah, exactly right. No, not senioritis. I'm here, friends. I'll tell you that right now. I'm working. I'm here to work. It's just I'm trying to have fun with the hockey playoffs, and no one here wants to have fun around hockey. We just want to do a serious hockey show all of a sudden, like we're on TSN or something. What's going on here?
There is some trouble here between the tensions. Roy, you laugh at this, but this is the conundrum, I would say, Billy speaks for the audience here, on the infiltration of hockey coverage the last couple of years, when this space has been kind of blissfully hockey-free, except for us every once in a while. Every couple of years, every couple of years, it's like, man, hockey's fun. And that's how we covered hockey for about 30 years before the last 3 years.
Check the table.
It's just unbelievable. It's a professional sport in North America.
I
We
know,
have a
but,
professional team
but
down
the
here
audience
that we
doesn't want it the way we're giving it. We're doing a preview show right now for a Tampa Bay, Florida game that I don't think Billy and Jessica have any interest in. And they're not alone. I don't think
I'll be watching.
I don't think Tony has any interest. I don't think Jeremy has any interest.
Why do you do this all the time with hockey? Like, we did fun bit on the front end. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's just talking shit, just making
That's
waves,
your thing, too.
trying to get decontextualized and have this be bulletin board material, even though he's not even watching. Like, we're doing the nonsense. We're saying Brad Marchand is a bad person, just a bad person.
Yeah, you said it. Don't put me in that.
Why are you?
I'm not in
sound
that
like
group.
an old-timey radio guy.
We've been doing like show, but also said, hey, remember last year when Kucherov was totally neutralized? I wonder if they could do that again. They brought in Jake Gintel. This is a guy that can disappear at times, so it's not the same Tampa Bay Lightning.
We covered this well before. Zaslow had the perfect words.
They Neutrava was Zibanejad.
And they don't know what they're talking about. See? That's for some reason you slipped into that. Billy Ray Bates, not Gates. So find me, but I'm not $50 because I didn't claim that he was dead like Inside the NBA did, and then they had to issue an apology, and it was a whole thing.
I actually have the sound of NBA on TNT apologizing.
And we welcome you back. We would like to issue a correction and an apology for something that happened last night on Inside the NBA. We were talking about Billy Ray Bates, who back in 1980 had one of the NBA's best playoff debuts coming off the bench with 29 points. In the course of our discussion, we passed on some bad information that Billy Ray Bates had passed away. While it was inadvertent, it was also inaccurate and insensitive and inexcusable. In short, we screwed up, and we apologize to Billy Ray Bates and his family.
Obviously very sincere from Ernie Johnson, but I just like the idea that somebody one night calls Billy Ray Bates, says, hey, they talked about you on Inside the NBA. It's like, whoa, yeah, they said you're dead.
You guys do understand that Ernie Johnson earned his money right there. They send him out. Enough with the rodeo clowns. Yeah, Shaq has to go to the bathroom, but when we kill somebody as a show, inadvertently, we send Ernie out with sincere remorse, and everyone's like, That's an apology.
It was super professional.
And everyone backs off, and the joke is gone, and you can't do anything with it because Ernie's the neutralizer there, and he helps bring a gravitas to everybody just fooling around.
I would argue that because of him, they can make the joke because they can just be like, he'll clean this up for us. We can be as glib as we want. Also, Billy Ray Bates is only 68, so like they're killing someone who's not, he's still in his prime.
It's the danger of live television, and it's one of the reasons that show is so great. And there's, unlike anything in the history of sports, something that exists between and around games to just carry you for 4, 5, 6 hours.
Has 68 ever been described as someone's prime?
I think 68 is the new 58.
Was 58 ever considered someone's prime?
When it became the new 48.
I was going to say 58, I've heard is the new 48. Did you guys see George Clooney? He looks like shit, huh? He does. Like that dyed black hair. When he said,
Thought the same thing.
When he said, I'm 63, I go, wow, you look damn near 85. Why did you do this?
Really?
Can you believe he's only 63? He looks horrific for 63.
This show loves to talk about the attractiveness of men while I'm just sitting here listening to all of your opinions.
Yeah.
He has a bad
I'm
dye
sorry,
job.
men can't think men are attractive?
Of
Why is
course
that, Jess?
Of course they can,
Jeez
Billy.
Louise.
But
She's
you
right,
are
though.
the
Oh.
arbiters. Okay,
I
that's
don't
a
like-
terrible
I
picture
don't like
of him.
that.
That's a bad.
That's what he looks like. It's not a magic camera. That's what he looks like.
I'm with Jess though. It's the hair dye.
It's the dye, and this is terrible.
My
looking.
father should not look more attractive than George Clooney. That is a rule of my life, my entire life. And he does now because of what George Clooney did to his head.
It's for a role.
Let's see what your dad looks like.
I mean, George.
What
Clooney,
my dad looks like?
Yeah.
George Clooney has been the most
I got my dad now,
transparent
jeez.
dude when it comes to embracing his gray hair.
His skin's literally transparent in that picture.
Yeah, so what
It's part of
changed
the
it?
problem.
It's for he's doing that for a role. Like he looks worse because the role. Yes, it's a bad dye job. It's supposed to be.
He's on Broadway, right? It's
Yeah,
some Broadway
it's a
role.
Broadway role. That's why everyone's like, "Wow,
Billy's
what a
dad
clear,
is kinda
obvious dye
hot.
job." Yeah,
Oh,
it
my
is.
dad
It's-
ugly on television.
George Clooney's never been embarrassed of his gray hair. In fact, he made it look sexy as hell.
Can we have a dad off right now? I'd like Mike Ryan's dad up there, and I'd like a picture of Billy's dad as well next to George Clooney. George Clooney is meant to look like something that exists in the age of the flappers, that looks like a character from the 1920s, that looks like a prohibition character. I'm guessing he's making a movie in the 1930s. You have now taken out George Clooney as well.
Did he look good there?
No, he did not look
Okay,
good. He
then.
looked. It
Thank
looked
you.
like
Billy's spitting today.
it looked like a wax figure of George Clooney or AI of George Clooney. George Clooney is allowed to age.
But guys, this is like looking at a pic of Dallas Buyers Club and say, "Wow, McConaughey aged like shit."
He did.
Do you think when he's out like that, does he whisper to people as he walks by, it's for a role?
It's for a role. The interview was he was promoting the role.
I mean, you made like $1 billion on your tequila. You don't take roles that make you look like crap.
Billy,
Just go enjoy your money, enjoy your rich lawyer wife as well, and go and live your life in Italy or wherever you live. And like, what is he besides ego? What does George Clooney need to do movies for at this point in time?
But at least the Dallas Buyers Club, that role was like a drug addict. Like, is this role that Clooney's playing, he's wearing like a suit and is supposed to look like a nice person, and he looks terrible. Like, there's a difference.
Is he a drug addict?
No,
and he doesn't have AIDS in this one.
George Clooney is supposed to be playing Edward R. Morrow. This is Good Night and Good Luck.
Oh, I mean that he kind of looks like him. I'm not gonna. I mean, this is good casting.
Yes.
Well, what Billy is doing, though, not understanding why George Clooney would want to make movies is, and it's understandable, but some people do like to work, Billy. Like, some people do enjoy working and making things.
Okay.
Rich people do love to work the most, though, and also they have to work the least. So figure that one out.
It does make more sense after I see what Edward R. Murrow looks like.
Yeah.
It's kind of what he's going for.
Facts. Do that.
Are you?
I mean, you guys want to have no fun today, huh?
Well, you've taken out 4 people, 3 of them by comparing them to shit. So
Well,
you're
normally people follow you down the path and we like to laugh.
Oh,
You know, now, like,
you're
oh,
complaining about our yes and. That's interesting.
Sorry, we're not buying in.
That's an interesting thing to hear. The Clippers last night, Zaslow, I don't know what we're going to do with this when we have to go back in time and say that Ty Lue has won a championship, James Harden has won a championship, and Kawhi Leonard is the only thing that existed in the LeBron age that made him look over his shoulder and say, I fear him coming into a game because he's got those giant hands. I don't think people understand. This is the last person to win by himself in the league that has a bunch of super teams all around it. And he did it not physically capable. He broke down during that run. I think the only thing that can stop the Clippers this year is some sort of health issue, because what they put on the floor last night, I think, can beat anybody. And Jokic is telling you after the game. Remember in the bubble when I told you guys that Utah-Denver series in the first round is the best basketball I've ever seen in my life? Just Utah and Denver with Donovan Mitchell on Utah going back and forth. It was the most perfect, beautiful basketball I've ever seen. Jokic is telling you after last night's game, that's the best that basketball can be played. And Kawhi Leonard took him out.
This is my favorite thing about the NBA playoffs, because literally game to game, the swing of the pendulum is so extreme. And while I agree with everything you just said, because Kawhi Leonard looks like the best player in the NBA right now, and Jokic was in that same game, and the Clippers look like a championship team, but man, like, isn't there still this cloud hanging over all of us, right? Yeah, at any minute it can
You
end for
can't
them.
trust it.
At any minute.
No, but it can't be trusted, but it's why I'm rooting for it so much, because what the hell's the analysis going to be after that wins? Like, oh, we weren't talking about them at all season. And we thought that the Paul George trade when Kawhi went there was going to be a big deal, and it hasn't been, but the Clippers are no longer a laughingstock and are in the most successful run the Clippers have ever had as a franchise, because the trade kind of worked, but it also made OKC better. And you will have to acknowledge, if the Clippers win the championship,
What a stupid thing to say.
It's a ridiculous, it's an asinine thing to say. But they can really confuse every analyst talking about basketball. If it would be the most confusing title winner there's ever been.
It'd be really confusing with Harden, who's been good for them and has been one of those rare superstars that goes to Los Angeles and becomes less of a star. It got quiet around James Harden because he wasn't, I guess, holding teams hostage like he usually did. Like, he is hugely invaluable to what they do on offense. And with the Kawhi thing, it's shocking when Kawhi plays like that. It's somehow less shocking if it's announced he's out for Game 3 and we didn't know it. Like, he is such a unique case study. I don't think anyone has faith that he could actually do this for an entire playoff run.
Oh, but you root for it, do you not? Or is it?
Would love to see it, because it would be hugely confusing.
But the part beyond that on confusing. So you've got this part where what are they doing in the middle of the conference? Is this going to be a thing now where the Mavericks can do it 1 year from the middle of the conference, and all you really do need to have is veterans? But the other part of it that's going to be impossible to get your arms around on face of the league, on I'm not sure about the Celtics, is Kawhi, James Harden, and Zubac are giving you nothing in the way of personality. Like personality where, I'll make a New Balance commercial around Kawhi, but he won't say anything. And like in terms of star power giving you charisma, they will give you less per square foot than any stardom champion in that entire sport.
I'm really curious to see who makes a deeper run, who makes a finals run, because if you stack up the last few years in the NBA in terms of the teams that get to the finals, it's been really unpredictable compared to the NBA that we grew up watching.
6 straight years, different champs, which has never, ever happened.
It's crazy. And just think of these runs. Miami Heat doing it as an 8 seed, a random NBA finals seemingly with the Suns and Bucks in the middle of it. In the day and age of player rest and load management and play-ins, teams are approaching the regular season way differently, to the point that they can make people sound really foolish with their analysis because these teams themselves aren't taking it seriously. And now, for the first time in our lives, they can actually make a run from one of those lower seeds.
But this is different, though, right, with Kawhi, because it used to be, hey, it'd be the worst-case scenario if Team X wins the NBA Finals because, the player has been resting, hasn't played throughout the season, load management and all that BS. But that's not what's happening with Kawhi Leonard, right? We can clearly understand that this is a guy who has a chronic, severe issue with his knee.
That is correct. So much so that it broke apart his relationship with the Spurs, where he won championships. And I would say that what it is that he did last night is remind you that if he can do that across 3 or 4 series, that's as good as can be played. You know that he can take out anybody if he's that. The problem with aging is he's 33, and we know those are nubs. Like when we saw him win the championship, getting to those final games, you get Kevin Durant blows a tire, Klay Thompson blows a tire, and at the end hobbled after making Joel Embiid cry and knocking out Jimmy Butler. Kawhi Leonard wins, but it's with old man game, because this run through these teams in this conference, you cannot bet on that to stay healthy and be that every night.
We were saying it during the run, and occasionally they'll show those games on NBA TV, and it's so strange to watch Kawhi Leonard dominate a series. When you think about the players that were on that court, and history will remember that finals for who wasn't on the court, but he very rarely has 2 feet off the ground in that entire series. You can't slide a phone book under his feet. He has zero explosion, and he is still unguardable, putting a team on his shoulders.
And by the way, all those numbers you see in the box last night, 15 of 19, 39 points. There's so much more that doesn't show up in that box score that he is doing out there. Like, if you're paying it, he is dominating the entire game right now.
It's hard. There has never been a superstar in this sport, never, not one, that has all of these things where Stephen A. is comfortable on television calling him a thief and saying it's
that he should retire.
It's the worst contract, that he should retire, that it's the worst contract he's ever seen, crushing him. Kawhi never speaks back, doesn't show you much in the way of personality, but the physical size of his hands and the amount of strength that he has, this person is on the cusp of having a legacy that's mythical that you ain't going to be able to explain to any of your kids.
Wasn't there that one replay one year where he blocked someone's dunk with his finger? Remember? They slowed down the replay and just his finger was on the ball and blocked the dunk.
He's ridiculously strong, and we've forgotten about him, and it's fun to have somebody as a mercenary appear. Let's see these photos right now of George Clooney, Billy's dad, and Mike Ryan's dad.
Yes.
I believe we've got a dad-off here. We've got a dad-off.
Dad-off, great game last night.
I think Stugotz can finally say he looks like Clooney. And not be totally off base.
Billy's dad easily, if this is what we're working with.
I think Clooney's third.
Clooney's in third place. Clooney's the bronze medalist as Edward R. Murrow.
Is he obsessed with Edward R. Murrow? Didn't he play Fred Friendly in Good Night and Good Luck?
Didn't Pablo win an Edward R. Murrow award of some sort?
Does Chris know who Edward R. Murrow is?
I know, but tell Roy.
Yeah. What?
No, tell him. I know.
He's a third liner for Tampa.
Why don't you guess, Chris? Let's play the game. I would like to play the game, the new game with Chris Cody, of guess a famous historical figure, what it is that they did or do. Get me what your thoughts are, Chris, on all things.
I gotta find him. I don't know what my thoughts are.
Edward R. Murrow. Just who do you think he is? What does that sound like to you? We'll give you some time here to think about it.
Thank you.
Don't check the computer. In the interim, Billy, because you want to have fun, I'm going to entertain you with a bat flip. I'm going to give you a bat flip here so that you can enjoy. You can enjoy today's show despite your sickness. Do you believe that this is the greatest bat flip in the history of bat flips?
Whoa.
And for the audio audience, it is as cartoonish a bat flip as you could possibly imagine.
Okay, so
it is Red Sox prospect Alex Lugo had a walk-off ground rule double and threw the ball into outer space. Like the
bat,
shot,
the bat.
Yeah,
that is 100 feet in the air.
Yeah, when you zoom out, like in a baseball game, to see what would be a home run, that you lose view of the hitter. This bat comes into that shot, goes out of the top of that shot, and then comes back down because of how high he threw the bat.
This bat is making the same wee noise that Kevin Durant made when he was going down the slide in France this summer.
I wanted to talk about camera work here because if you haven't seen the studio on Apple Plus, it's tremendous. And the way that they're filming it is really unusual. They're just using like a couple of handheld cameras, and it looks pristine. It looks more expensive and beautiful than anything you've seen on video. This minor league footage, grainy as it is, the lack of cameras here absolutely make this the shot that it is, because they've only got 2 cameras, one in front of the plate and one behind the plate. When they go out to show you where the ball is going in center field, you see the bat come into the frame, and it looks like it's being thrown 300 feet into the sky. Like, legitimately, I didn't think that the physics of that would allow him to throw that underhanded that high. I think from that angle, it looks like it has to be thrown overhand. Like, it has to be thrown as far as someone can throw a bat. I now want the other angle to see how he got the bat that high.
There's no way he meant to throw it that high, right?
How do you accidentally do that? I mean, it
I
seems
think
pretty
he just
intentional.
flipped it. He was
It
excited.
can't be.
I
Billy,
don't think
there's no
that
way.
high.
Billy, there's no way that's what you think that happened with one hand, one arm.
flick of the wrist.
Oh no,
They're strong, Dan.
I think that was both hands. I think he took that between his legs, granny style, and flipped it up with. Yes, we got to call him and find out. I got to find out about this because we don't have a camera angle because it's the minor leagues and we don't have access to more footage here. Thank you, Billy.
Was there a brawl after?
No, it was the end of the game. It was a walk-off.
I think there still should have been a brawl.
Oh.
In the celebration?
Yeah.
During the celebration?
It's obscene, that bat flip.
Yes, it is. There's
Hopefully he's not in, like, his team's not in the first base dugout, because I imagine the players running out onto the field to celebrate, and there's a bat. Like, all of a sudden they're having to dodge a bat.
Let me ask you guys this question, because we are headed into a whole bunch of national anthems, a bunch of patriotic pride, a bunch of Canada doesn't like the United States right now for a lot of very valid reasons. And last night before a hockey game, if I say to you in the hypothetical, everybody in this room, how do you guys feel about harmonicas as a national anthem? Do you guys feel like that will work as a concept or not work? Harmonicas.
For the American national, the Star-Spangled Banner?
For our national anthem. Thank you.
I'm going to hear it out.
I'm glad that you're open-minded about this. I'm going to say dozens of harmonicas. Do you guys like this idea or think it's a bad idea? Let's make it just, I don't know how many harmonicas. I see 3 on the screen. Let's see what we've got here.
How do we feel so far about this?
Roy, what are you laughing about? A terrible idea, poorly executed, correct?
All the players are shaking their heads right now.
Well, but it's just terrible. It's not moving. It's not patriotic.
It's great.
It's just squeaky.
The crowd singing, yeah.
So you guys like this? I think the harmonica.
It looks like a bunch of Asian grandmas too.
The harmonica's not a star. The harmonica can't. It's not a 1. The harmonica's a 2 or a 3 or a 4. You can't win. You can't win the anthem with the harmonica as your number 1.
I don't like it.
You gave it a chance. We appreciate that.
Do you find it disrespectful?
It sounds like they're playing the tunes on Play School toys.
Chris Cody, who is Edward R. Murrow?
He clearly is the man that invented the microwave.
Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I like this game. I'd like to ask you some more questions.
Before you do so, can I get another angle on that bat flip? Can I get an answer to my question? What are the bets? You guys are still betting that's a one-armed bat flip? What is? I'm going to guess 2-armed. Do we have proof here? Let's see. We do have proof. This is very good. A third camera angle. That's so minor league baseball.
Angle.
It's just so good.
8K.
Pitch clock. I mean, geez.
Here's the wind-up.
I'm the only one who says it's both arms, right? Oh, he did
clearly
it.
just his right arm.
Just his right arm.
I think it was left arm.
No.
So strong.
I think it was left arm. He went up with it. Stayed in this hand, then went up with it.
I thought it was left, and it was kind of underhand, like a little back.
It was.
Into the left
It wasn't even
action.
that hard for him to do. He really flipped it the hell up there without much strength at all.
Do we have video of the brawl that ensued?
It should have ensued. Mike, go ahead and quiz Chris Cody on historical figures that he's not likely to know after taking out notaries yesterday, even though his mom is the head of a big law firm.
think my mom's dealing with notaries.
Chris Cody, do you know who Henry Kissinger is?
He invented kissing.
Yeah, that's right.
How about Jimmy Hoffa?
Jimmy Hoffa is one of the first broadcasters in sports history.
Yeah.
Do you know who George Orwell is?
He invented Wells.
Oars, sorry.
Manuel Noriega.
Manuel.
What was that?
I don't know what that one I don't know. The other ones I all knew.
You know Woodward and Bernstein?
All right, we'll come back to this.
Wait, I got one more. Rachel Phelps.
Actress.
She's the fictional owner of the Cleveland Indians in Major League.
Oh, and you were actually the closest on.
Terry Bollea. We will come back in a second. Zazzle, what are you smirking about? We will come back in a second to grilling Chris Cody on things he doesn't know. It's an endless stream. But before we do that, I want to ask you guys if this is real. What I'm about to show you, if it's real. Because I am getting fooled by the internet all the time. As we know around here, the aging process is cruel. And so I have to double and triple check whether things are real. And I thought this was a bit. I thought that somebody was acting, and I'm really confused by two twins who are answering a question here about a crime that happened in Australia, a carjacking. And these are two identical twins. They're being interviewed by a reporter, and I didn't think this was a thing. I didn't think this was possible. I thought I was being fooled by the internet. It felt like two twins are sharing a brain, even though they're not Siamese twins. They're just identical twins. So explain to me how this can possibly be real.
Only to find the gun-wielding car thief emerging from the wreck. Here's some of what they had to say.
And one guy, he was up there with our mum, and he went up there and he was coming back down towards us, and he goes, "Run, he's got a gun." And our heart started to pound, and I said, "Oh, Mum, where's Mum?" And poor Mum was stuck up there, but apparently our brave Mum, she goes, "Are you all right?" Because he had all blood all over his face. And he goes, "I'll shoot you." She goes, "Hey, I'm here to help." And Mum distracted him to make him look the other way, and he looked the other way, and Mum ran into the bush behind the fence. And the guy goes to her, "I'll find you and I'll shoot you." All I was thinking about when we were running, I hope he doesn't fire. Yeah, we were so blessed.
How close to him do you think you were?
Well, see, he was up there, and we were past our when you driveway. You don't think of all of that at the time. No, you just run for your safety.
That is amazing, disorienting, awe-inspiring, super creepy. And I don't understand it.
So I Googled this because I saw this online, and I was like, this is probably from some like parody show that I'm unaware of. It can't be real. But apparently, according to people.com, they're well known in Queensland for running an animal rescue organization, and they were the subject of a 2016 Good Morning Britain segment in which Piers Morgan laughed at their synchronized answers. So this sort of I don't know if you call it a bit, but this sort of shtick thing has been their thing for a while now.
My wife is a twin, and there are times where my wife and her sister are in the same room, and you ask a question, and they will say a single answer in unison where you're like, that's weird. But this is just that times 50. Like
there is a brain being shared there in a way that I don't understand, and I don't even want to mock simply because I don't understand it. None of us understand it, right? Like I'm introducing this to people, and next to nobody knows or understands what's happening there, right?
Who the hell can understand that? I don't like it. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it.
Is it the accent you don't understand?
no.
Okay, so I'm going to try and articulate what he's not articulating.
I'm with Zaz.
Well, see, I don't feel like I should be with Zaz, but there's something in there that's haunting, right?
Do you like it?
I mean, I like it as content. I like being disoriented by it. I like how awkward and confused it makes us.
I don't like it.
I like the discomfort of it. I like how far away from the microphone Mike is.
You didn't like it.
He's just chilling back here. It's weird.
Can you please just medically explain to me, because what is happening there, my guess is that this is something that a handful or some twins can do?
Well, doctor, I can't diagnose it from the video that I saw, but it did seem like one was trailing a great deal.
One was the leader.
Seems like a case of the repeaties,
Yeah,
where you
like-
repeat what the other person next to you is saying.
Wow, so you're calling them frauds. You guys are calling them, you're calling this some form of grift, that they can act this out. That
It's impressive what they're
They've
doing, honestly.
clearly done media before, and this might just be their thing. I'm sure there's some synchronicity, but it looks like it's a bit amplified from that video because you could see one twin's like looking at the other's
Billy,
mouth.
they're calling, I mean, I am now uncomfortable. Hold on a second, because this is like...
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation. You're good.
What's the accusation you're making?
The accusation is that there might be some synchronicity, but they amplify it because it's their thing. Yeah. It's my allegation. Did you know that the CIA declassified a UFO report that said there were 3 small beings that came out, formed one being, looked at 20-plus Soviet soldiers, and turned them into stone?
I have less of a problem understanding that.
That should get some coverage. We should cover that. Things are moving fast in
crazy.
terms of
They're
the
declassified.
It's like the plot of The Hobbit, Mike. I just simply don't believe that that is true.
Check it out for yourself, man.
It's on
out
Easter
there.
Island.
It was out there. It was those weren't the Soviets, and you know, like we found the Ark of the Covenant, and we're just all like moving on with our lives. They found it in the 80s, and the CIA report was like it's guarded by an entity, and you know this stuff is out there. We don't know what to do with it.
There is an amount of information that is now we are being bombarded by, and an amount of misinformation of not knowing what's real and what's not. Are those twins acting? Are they grifters? Or is that just a shared brain? There's so much out there right now that that all of us are being flooded by it, and you cannot keep up with all of the things that are happening in the world.
They turn to stone. They turn to stone. This is not since Sodom and Gomorrah have we seen anything like that.
Let's lighten it up a little bit around here. Stugotz yesterday. Stugotz was just killing wrestling is fake. That was his take. And Zaslow wanted to celebrate John Cena, 17-time champion. I know Mike Ryan wants to celebrate Wrestlemania. We can do it better than Stugotz just simply saying it's fake.
I got a bone to pick with Stugotz. Stugotz made it seem like he hooked me up with Dead & Company tickets.
We covered some of this yesterday, and people agreed that Stugotz got you tickets, and I was like, I don't think that's getting him tickets.
No, like I checked. I could have gotten the same ticket on the primary market.
Oh, then never mind. See, no, he made it seem like that all only available were really expensive second market, and he got you face value.
Yeah.
That which is, you would admit, if that's what he did, that is getting somebody.
No, he gave me GA tickets, and I literally cross-referenced it, like because it was expensive. So like, okay,
lied. That Stugotz painted it as he got you face value when all that was available was like second market.
No, trust me.
No, we're not. We believe you. Trust me.
And then he was like complaining that I'm the worst person to get tickets for. Again, I paid for the tickets because I wanted to know all the details. I'm sorry, I wanted to know where I pick up my tickets. I literally traveled in that day and had no idea how to actually get the tickets you said you got for me, that I could have avoided all this hassle by just going to the primary market.
Well, what happens? Does he send you a text saying, I got you tickets, and then he thinks it's all right, go find them?
I mean, I never really thought that he wouldn't come through with the tickets, but I was kind of anticipating some Stugotz-y type of mess around it. But I do know that when he sees it dead all the time. When Stu legitimately wants to get tickets, he can purchase them with relative ease because he has someone direct to go through there. So I was just trying to go through Stu because he's always offered. But he didn't hook me up.
What were you
or anything.
expecting, though? Like as far as a hookup?
I got exactly what I expected. I would have preferred like a better deal. Like he kept saying like face value. Like yeah, there were tickets available for face value.
I'm not actually interested in the details as much as I'm interested in your appraisal of did he get you tickets or did he not get you tickets? Because he told people he got you tickets, and in doing so, it was made to look like he hooked you up.
Like, yes, I understand how the optics of, well, Mike, you went to see Dead & Company on Thursday and he got you the tickets on Thursday. Yeah, but I asked for it months earlier. And I could have gotten the Dead & Company tickets months earlier for myself. Had I not had a Stugotz element, I would have been responsible.
Billy,
I had the same tickets.
You're making faces during this. Your appraisal is what? I don't know what these faces mean.
I'm just listening to the story for the first time. I don't have any backstory, but it sounds like he said he was going to do something, and then you said you got exactly what you expected from him, so I don't really understand the gripe.
Well, the gripe is
you want him to go above and beyond what you expected.
My gripe is how he's presenting it, like he went over, above, and beyond. When he just like sent an email to a guy that I paid full price for tickets, and I didn't get like any extra access, and all I asked for him, like he made me sound like some hound. He wouldn't tell me where I could pick up my tickets. I think I was pretty chill about it.
In journalism, and I still want to get to Wrestlemania with you, you like to have two sources to confirm a story, and another source is just written in. He did it to me with Knicks Heat when I asked for tickets for my birthday.
Well, no, that person, I know exactly who is sending you that because I know that story.
Don't give away
I'm not going
my
to say
source.
that person wanted him to give him tickets for free. And what he did was he connected him with the person that gets tickets for him. And then he was surprised when he had to pay for tickets because he was asking for free tickets from Stugotz.
That's a fair question, though. If someone's offering to hook you up with tickets, does it imply they're paying for said tickets?
This is the question I'm asking.
How rich are they?
No.
This is an important thing. If they're rich, then I kind of expect them to pay.
I mean, but you guys are all adults. Like, you just reach out to people asking them to give you free tickets?
I think the wording is
I
important.
don't.
Hook you up with tickets implies comped. Set you up with tickets means there's an avenue for you to get the ticket.
This is a semantics thing.
I went through Stugotz because he always said, anytime you want to see the Dead, hit me up.
Oh, yeah, he says that a lot.
So I'm thinking like, oh, there's like some unique special access that I wouldn't have normal. Like I was in a will call place that was for friends and family, but it just meant the line that I didn't know I had to go to until hours before the event would be shorter. That's the only convenience that I got, and totally good with that. I'm good paying with tickets. I'm good with all of that. This is exactly what I expected down to the Stugotz experience, but don't paint it as you hooked me up with something like that. I could have gone through some other guy.
Billy, I'm still unclear on your appraisal because where do you side in all of this? It seems like
I'm just an impartial observer, just taking it all in. You asked Stugotz to get you tickets. He told you the place to get tickets. You didn't have to wait in a line. You say you're not upset about it, but you seem upset about it.
Because he lied. He made it seem like something he's not when I could have just gone to Game Time.
You
downloaded
the
Game
to
Time
do
app.
it. What do you expect?
Yeah, no, well, I expected everything that I got outside of him just presenting it one way on the air because Game Time, I actually used Game Time last night. I went to Monday Night Raw, and I went to Game Time, and I got tickets to Monday Night Raw. It was incredible. It was a Raw after Mania.
What
it
a
delivered.
show.
Hey, guys, download the Game Time app. Do what I did. Create an account and use the code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. This was so great because I wasn't familiar with the new Raw setup for the Netflix.
It's good, right?
was
The
behind
minimalistic
stage.
setup. I like that.
But I have panoramic seat views on the app, so I knew exactly what I was getting into. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Chris Cody, what time is it?
It's Game Time, MLB, NBA, whatever you need.
Today's Throwback Chat is with Hollywood's biggest stoner. He's a charming Canadian, welcomed everywhere, except for North Korea. It's Seth Rogen on the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
This is an uncomfortable question, but we were talking about it before you came on. Are you right now the most powerful comedian in movie making in terms of being able to get your movies made?
No, I don't think I am by any stretch of the imagination. There's guys who haven't essentially ruined entire movie studios by starting international incidents, so they probably have a slightly better time getting their movies made than I do.
Okay, a fair, that whole North Korea thing you speak of.
Exactly, yeah. That sets you back a few pegs.
Well, okay, go ahead and tell us a little more about what happened there and if you actually feared for your safety at any point.
No, I didn't. I didn't feel for my safety. I felt for my job at times, but which at times is a far worse fear to have. But what's weird is in the end, like my office is still at the same lot at Sony. I'm literally going there today. I mean, what's weird about how Hollywood works is like people forget stuff really fast, which is kind of nice. But Will Ferrell's still more successful than I.
Do you have anything in your past that you wince about because you're like, ooh, I wish I hadn't done that?
Yeah, there's a few movies that are not my favorite movies, but I've learned not to talk about them because some people really like those movies, and I look like a jerk if I say bad things about them.
So the Green Hornet?
You can probably surmise which ones they are.
All right. So we will leave it unstated that a lot of people like the Green Hornet. Seth,
one of my good friends had to tell me, he's like, you shouldn't say bad things about that movie because I like that movie, and you hurt my feelings whenever you say bad things about it.
Seth, I want to make sure I have this right. You get around famous musicians and you end up humming one of their songs. Is that true?
I do.
Okay, so give us an example of that happening, please.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was around Adam Levine once, and I just have myself humming, like, some of the only Maroon 5 song I know. It's really, like, they're, like, just their presence, like, subconsciously plants the seed in my head, and then I start singing their own music in front of them, and it's really embarrassing.
I mean, what are you doing? What's the matter with you?
I don't know. Then I see myself doing it, I'm just like, oh, what am I doing? Why did I do that?
All right, so give us the kind of celebrity that Seth Rogen will find himself around where he just behaves like a total goof. Do you have another story other than that one?
I get starstruck by, like, really weird, like, people I wouldn't expect to be starstruck. I met Wesley Snipes recently, and I was like, I've like maybe never been more starstruck in my entire life.
And so what was happening there? Was it Blade? Was it Major League? Like, what
it was all that. It was Blade, Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
It was the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, it was honestly, it was probably the most Demolition Man.
So wait a minute. Wow. Wait a minute. So were you like wanting to ask him questions about Simon Phoenix?
Yeah, I fully was. I for sure referenced it like several times throughout the conversation.
Did he want you to get away from him?
I think he appreciated it, but I don't know if he was entirely comfortable.
I love that you're behaving the way around him that most people would behave around you, right? Like they do that. They laugh around you like that. You were uncomfortably laughing around Wesley Snipes. What's a role that you missed out on that was the bummer of your life?
I mostly have auditioned for really bad movies that have gone on to become really bad movies. I can't think of.
Really?
I can't think of it.
So you thought they might be good, and then you see them on the screen and they're bad. And you've been really lucky, Seth.
I have been very lucky. That is definitely accurate. I would not argue with that.
I just love that this stoner runs Hollywood and can even survive North Korea. Like, honestly, and he doesn't get the roles that he wants, and they turn into bad movies, and then they just keep giving him more movies to make. Who do you most enjoy working with? Like, because you make movies with your buddies, and it looks like so much fun. What are the couple of guys, if you had to give us names, that you most enjoy working with?
Danny McBride, I think, is one of the funniest guys ever. Craig Robinson, I really love working with, and Michael Cera, I really love working with. And
so all the guys you work with.
Pretty much all the guys.
All the guys you're always making movies with.
All the guys you always see me working with.
All right, very good. Excellent answer. Really love talking to you, Seth. Thank you for making the time, and happy for your success, sir.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Let's play another clip from Billy Gill and Chris Cody doing Marlins spring training baseball on the radio.
We should get through the Trevor Rogers stuff early, though, because he's probably only going to go 4, right?
Well, last time he went 4. It would be really good if he went maybe 5.
That damn Jordan Walker wasn't fouling off so many pitches, you know?
Did you just swear on the air?
How can I not say that?
No. Let's refrain. Might have to hit the dump button back in the station, folks. Here's a swing of a line drive up the middle and a base hit for Nolan Gorman, leading off the top of the second inning.
I thought I was coming in hot last inning. Billy really just taking the mantle.
Yeah.
All right, so the issue here is Kyle is very rarely around cursing. So I think damn is safe. Billy called some player this damn guy, and you should have seen Kyle was just like trying to do the call. I think we need to dump this back in the studio. Like Kyle was freaking out. I don't think it's a curse word. I think they were safe, but it was just funny to see the fear on Kyle and Billy, because you know Billy, he's a rebel rouser, but he doesn't actually want to offend any. So when he thought, oh my God, I just cursed and they had to dump something, the look on Billy's face was the best part of that.
Imagine if he said stovetop pudding.
Did you just swear on the air?
How can I not say that?
No. Let's refrain. Might have to hit the dump button back in the station, folks. Here's a swing of a line drive up the middle and a base hit.
That wasn't all Billy did to bring it to a dark place. You got to play this clip. It's a little bit longer, but it's chef's kiss here from Billy.
I have a morbid question for you, Kyle.
Oh, fire away. Now we're talking.
Okay, so you see this man that's walking here. He's walking in with a Cardinals jersey that says "Together." Older gentleman.
Yep, he's got the cream-colored jersey on.
Yeah, so he has a jersey that says "Together." And then presumably, oh yeah, there you go. The person
they've been together since
and
19.
Then and we don't see the second number. Right.
Oh, that's adorable.
Well, yes. Heaven forbid though, one of them passes.
Oh wow.
Do you retire the jersey?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think the question is, do you put it in like a case? Do you frame it? First pitch of Joey Wendell's a called strike.
Maybe you buried it with the person, right?
Boy, we have taken a dark turn. You're right. Yikes. Maybe the 0-1. Swing and a miss. You can go ask him. That'd be wild.
I mean, he's kind of close. We could just shout down. No, let's not.
No, let's not. You erred on the side of caution there. That's good.
1968. Together since 1968.
Oh, they have a long way to go.
Do they?
0-2, swing and a miss. They've been together 55 years, those two lovebirds.
That's beautiful.
You don't care.
Solid math.
What do you mean I don't care?
Kyle.
I love love.
Kyle, did we pull the calculator out on the computer? Or was
Not
that
on my phone. It was on my phone.
He must hate you guys so much. Like it's unbelievable that's
the 2-2.
That's always funny. The 0-1.
Have you been served?
Welcome, everybody, to the David Sampson Show. It happens every Thursday, for the most part, here on the local hour. David is the host of Nothing Personal, and you can follow him on Twitter, at David P. Sampson. We begin in the obvious place. Dan, have you been subpoenaed?
I have not.
Ooh, you're named in the lawsuit. That's an upset. That's my new game show. Have you been subpoenaed?
Wow.
Dave, have you been subpoenaed?
Yes.
In the Sage Steele lawsuit?
Oh, no, not in that one. I thought you just meant in general, like a Tuesday.
We knew that. I mean,
I have never been subpoenaed in any way, and I do not have any history with subpoenas.
Have you ever been served?
No.
Oh, I had such a funny thing on Nothing Personal today about Jason Sudeikis serving Olivia Wilde in the middle of her being on stage.
The reports are that he didn't do that on purpose. The timing.
I
That's
doubt
horse
that he
hockey.
would. Ooh, you think he did that on purpose? Man,
I'm with Samson on this one.
He's bought so much with just via Ted Lasso that I would say Jason would never intend for this.
So the way it works when you hire a service processor is their job is to get that lawsuit served. And if Olivia Wilde does not want to be served, you have to sort of spy on her and figure out where she's going to be, where in public she's going to be, and then you just serve her. And that counts as a service of process, but you're always keeping your client in the loop. It's not like you call when it's done and say, oh, we found her at Comic-Con, but we didn't know she'd be there, and we just happened to be there, and there she was. What a miracle. There is no way that there's plausible deniability that Ted Lasso did not know that was happening.
Should have done it at Harry Styles' Coachella set, if you ask me. That's the ultimate vengeance.
Can we talk about how invasive and helpless it must make you feel to be served?
Yeah, it feels like a terrible feeling. I mean, you'll be able to tell us in a couple of weeks, given that you were named in the lawsuit and you were definitely getting subpoenaed in that thing. I'm even being careful with what I say because it just seems like a whole to-do.
Are you really named in that Steele lawsuit with the ESPN?
Yeah, get this. She thought Dan got away with talking about politics.
That's funny.
I didn't know that this was on the table for us, really.
Please put me on the stand. Please. I am begging
you. You want to be served?
I
see the dossier called China.
Please, let's put all this out in public so I can hold up my hands and just be like, I was under oath. It was my legal service and duty to tell you all the things that happened that weren't politics with us at ESPN.
There is zero chance that lawsuit is going to go to a trial where you will be put on the stand. Zero.
I feel like I should go into this lawsuit with Sage Steele just behind her and just say, hey,
Class
give me
action.
10%. Just give me, I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to.
Now you're talking.
80-20 Stugotz' way.
You're a co-defendant and co-plaintiff. First ever. This is amazing.
Help me figure out how to turn this into a thing, Mike, where we can sail on the wings of Sage Steele without doing anything and collide into Disney right now at this moment when they're fighting the state of Florida.
I'm going to be careful with what I say because I genuinely don't want to be subpoenaed. But I was both surprised and not, if that makes any sense, because it does seem like a shocking, bold move. Some of the people named in the lawsuit, I was under the distinct impression were strong supporters and allies of Sage during our time over there. But this is also the move to further endear yourself to a certain group. So I can't say that I'm that surprised. I did find it funny that your name popped in there under the guise of someone that got away with it.
Well, yeah, she also, I didn't know whether we would end up, because I think the way that she thinks that we got away with it is that I went on the air the day that she was complaining because there was a ban into our country and Sage Steele was complaining that there was 10 hours of flying. And I purposely, because she's black, I purposely said that is the height of privilege. She was complaining about people being able to get into our country.
Now you're saying too much because that part wasn't outlined. I read the part and it didn't mention that. So, whew.
Mm-hmm.
Are you nervous, Dan?
Be careful, Dan.
Today will be fun, but it pretends that I was allowed to do that. I wasn't allowed. I did it anyway.
Yeah, you did it anyway. They had a policy that you weren't allowed to, so it's kind of weird to say your rights were infringed when you go there. Every meeting we ever had was, hey, don't talk about this. And
no, but
you would occasionally break that rule.
No,
dude.
but they thought all the time that they weren't allowing us to talk about that.
I wasn't trying.
You were cannonballing at every turn. Anyway, what do you make of the lawsuit, David?
It's meritless. What I can't believe about it, though, imagine if Stugotz served you right now with a lawsuit that he felt as though he was not being properly taken care of, or he felt that you were shutting him up, or that you were stopping his career.
Can't rule that possibility.
Thinking about it, I got to be honest.
We got to do it. We got to do it.
Here's the question:
you got to file
if
a lawsuit.
Stugotz does that,
done.
Are you going to keep having him by your side every day? Because ESPN is still letting her be on the air. We had a very simple rule when you run a company. If you're suing us, you're not working for us.
Oh, but David, they don't know how to handle any of this. This is you just saw what happened with Disney in Florida. Because people need their football, Nate Tice is going to join us here in a segment executive produced by Billy Gill. We're going to play Naughty or Tice with Nate Tice and Billy Gill of God Bless Football to get our draft information. Billy is looking through papers right now, wondering what is Naughty or Tice.
Though. It's one of those games you hear it, you know.
I think Billy just found out that he's executive producing that segment. We'll get to it in a moment. Also, I still want to get to Wrestlemania because we have not. And I also want to get to the stuff happening with McAfee and Shannon Sharp because wrestling happened yesterday on ESPN. And if you're welcoming in the age of wrestlers and wrestling and it's all content and it's all drama, what happened on McAfee's show is about some inner office tensions there that super interesting to me, watching the athletes come and try and run off the journalists. Like Stephen A. Smith isn't going to... Stephen A. Smith might be the coolest of us, but it's a new time, and McAfee and Shannon Sharp are in the $100 million game. Before, I'm going to let play out some of the Shannon Sharp stuff because there's time to know what's true or what's not. I'm just going to address what I saw happen this weekend, which was strategic. Over the weekend, it leaks Shannon Sharp contract up worth $100 million, whatever the numbers were. And I'm like, why would that come out on the weekend? Oh. Because then everything that comes after that can be framed as money grab or whatever it is that people do when they're arguing about money and now accusations of rape inside of a consensual relationship. The money was leaked first, and then you get what you got yesterday from Shannon Sharp. Busby's a lawyer that does these things, but I'm not going to try and talk about the particulars of who's right, who's wrong. I just thought it was interesting that purposely money is leaked on the weekend, and I'm like, what? Why is this happening now? Who's doing this and why? And then what happens the next day? As you find that McAfee and Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith are becoming a class of journalist, celebrity, entertainer. It's all wrestling. Wrestling's going to Netflix. Tony Khan knows how to sell stuff in the streaming service. ESPN's going to get into the wrestling, fighting, information business, all of it mixed together. What happened yesterday on ESPN is something I've never seen watching ESPN in my lifetime, where Pat McAfee, who's independent, as part of a wrestling promotion where he stars because he's a monster media talent, an event that Mike Ryan goes with his buddies to and that Zaslow wants to cover, McAfee, a giant star, has a wrestling superstar manager on, and that guy's too hot for television. Like, what he's doing cannot be controlled by Disney. Wrestling has arrived to Disney, and it's like, here's what it looks like. We're in the middle of your game, and we're going to say McAfee's smoking pot, and he's mother bleeping Stephen A. Smith. Let's play that sound so that people can hear as McAfee gets sheepish, and they all do wrestling on television in a way that's great if you like drama and entertainment and wrestling storylines.
Do you care about the opinions of people who are irrelevant? You don't care about the opinions of most people who are very relevant in your life. You don't care about the opinions of the people who pay you. They sit there and they go, hey, Mr. McAfee, don't talk about Shannon Sharp on the air today. And you go, I talk about anything I want. I'm Pat McAfee. Right. Watch me swing my schlong all over the place. They go, McAfee, don't talk about your podcast on the air. What do? I'm King Schlong. Okay. Watch me, Pat McAfee. Right?
This is on you. This is about you, not me.
Last night when the roast was over and you and I were out back and you're going, wise man. By the way, it's puff, puff, pass, not puff, 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 chase down the gummy, puff, 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 pass, right? And you go, wise man. You know Stephen A. Smith really sucks, right? Right? And I go, I love Stephen A. The man calls me the GOAT. The man, Stephen A. Smith, is on the air saying, if there's one person in the universe that I, Stephen A. Smith, at $70 billion a year want to be, it's the wise man Paul Heyman. And you sit there and you go, these ESPN bastards give me the same money as him or they can.
No, that's not true. None of that's true.
I've loved professional wrestling all my life.
I mean, that's not even like the clip that went super viral for Paul Heyman there, where he's saying, you look like you're about to get deported to one of the people. And he's just going like, he's trying to get a new heel persona. He's always kind of been heel adjacent, but he's launching a more aggressive heel character, and he's using the Pat McAfee show to do it by doing things that are considered third-railed. Did a good enough job in protecting Pat being like the traffic cop, like, no, you can't do that. And so maybe he hears about it, maybe he doesn't, but WWE and Pat McAfee and ESPN clearly have a very good, strong relationship. They find this mutually beneficial. WWE produced an incredible event that Pat had at the Penguins Arena that was all entirely a WWE production that went on Hulu or that ESPN used. So I think that's actually pro wrestling happening on a television show. I'm not reading too much into it, even though it gets people's attention.
That's the most pro wrestling I think that's ever been on ESPN television. And it's not a coincidence that it comes from that guy, because that guy, Paul Heyman, is so embedded in this is the gimmick, and if a camera's on or if we're recording something, then I am in the gimmick. And that was what we saw. It's leading up to what he wanted to take place and ended up taking place last night, and this is a very bitter man, and he's angry, and he brought that on television there, and he's old school pro wrestling where, it doesn't matter that I'm on your stage. This is me. This is my character.
Okay, but when you guys talk about old school pro wrestling, I don't know how the rest of the room feels. I have not asked Billy, Jessica, Chris, or Roy how they feel about the grown man allegiances that Zaz and Mike Ryan have to the entertainment spectacle that is WrestleMania and professional wrestling.
I love it.
I mean, I see what you're trying to do there. We're not the guys that fell for pro wrestling. You are. Like, you all thought that Paul Heyman was doing something like super dangerous that was very controversial because he just invoked some names. Like, that was pro wrestling.
He brought up the lawsuit.
Yeah, that's pro wrestling. It's pro wrestling, and he got heat, and he got his bit over.
Yep.
He's one of the greatest minds in the history of pro wrestling in terms of getting things over.
So you think ESPN suits were watching that and being like, awesome?
I'm sure there's a suit. I'm sure that maybe it was at least communicated even before or after, but this is a work. Don't work yourself into.
You know what a work is? You know what that means?
I do, yes. Okay. And I would say that Mike Ryan is applying some expertise here that when egos get involved, Mike, like I understand that you might cite it as a work. McAfee would know it's a work. Not everybody at ESPN is in on that particular joke. And so we have learned on occasion when we're doing the joke at the expense of Dana White, who might not have the same sense of humor as we have, that sometimes what we think is a work and know is a work and the audience knows is a work is not taken as a work by a Dana White who might have a different view of things.
I totally understand. And if someone on First Take feels some way about it, it would be explained to them the way that we explained our bits to people that took offense. Buster Olney not liking the looks like game. Like, we've had all these things happen, and we've had to explain this is the kind of show that we do. We didn't mean to hurt your feelings. We understand. We're committed to our show, and McAfee is very truly committed to. I think the wrestling thing is the thing that he enjoys the most. The show probably that afforded him this opportunity to have all these crazy doors open. But the Pat McAfee that you get on WWE seems genuinely like the happiest to be there. I think that's the most fun he has.
He got choked out last night on live television in the show.
Spoiler alert.
You guys were living and dying with WrestleMania, so what were the takeaways between the two of you? Because Zaslow hasn't offered me anything other than Cena, 17-time champion.
I mean, if you want to mark out, go for it, Zaz. I'm sure. I love the spectacle of it. It's always a great part of the year.
This is the way wrestling has changed for me from when I'm a kid, where, okay, I'm rooting for certain wrestlers. I want certain guys to win because I'm a child. To now, as I'm older, it's more about, especially if I go, and Mike went to WrestleMania, I didn't. Go into a wrestling event now, for me as an adult, I want to be part of a moment. I want to be part of something big. I want to be there when the crowd, all simultaneously, all 60,000 people at that arena, at that stadium this weekend, they're all cheering at the same time for the same thing. It's a great feeling. I love the emotion that comes with that. It's about being there for moments. And Mike got several moments this weekend, which makes it an amazing time.
Isn't John Cena, though, the face of like the PG era of wrestling?
Well, and now he's a real piece of garbage, this John Cena.
But are we
PG?
Are we liking this? Like, are we buying this? I'm seeing some people being like, it feels like wrestling is just, I don't know. It just feels almost like lazy.
It like that. Triple H very clearly took offense to people criticizing the build to WrestleMania. And I think the build was the build. And Triple H can say you don't know where it's going, but we're just in a vacuum criticizing the lead up to it. It does actually seem like there's clarity in the direction of this heel character. John Cena turned heel a month and a half ago, and he just found his character. And he's just starting to get it over, beginning with last night. That probably was a disappointment, the very main event. And
I think that's part of it, though. I think they want you to be disappointed. They wanted you to be angry at them. That's part of this story. I mean,
They don't want you to be disappointed after a main event.
Well, I mean, I think you got to look at the bigger picture where it's like, hey, the whole show is not just the main event. Like Mike, maybe you didn't like the main event. Did you have a great time? Did you think it was a great show?
I thought the triple threat match that won.
Well, that's what matters. You thought it was
won
a
the
great
night.
show. You had a great time.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a spectacle every time. I enjoy it. And I actually spoke to a friend of the show that is working on a project exploring different types of sports fandom. And he took into account this WrestleMania event for the first time, not knowing anything about it. And it was really cool to kind of be texting with that person as they were experiencing it, kind of being swept away by the spectacle.
It's nice that you tried to protect your source, but somebody revealed that source on yesterday's show, and I was learning of who it is you were at WrestleMania with, at least in part, because that person was trying to learn about what the WrestleMania experience is, because that person doesn't think that what you guys are attached to here is a sane thing that human beings should be emotionally invested in.
It's ridiculous. Why would anyone? Why does I just don't understand the part where people have a problem with other people enjoying a show. That's what it boils down to.
I get it.
What you do?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like Big Bang Theory. I thought people that liked it were not my type of people, so I get it.
But are you telling people don't watch Big Bang Theory? You shouldn't be watching that?
I would.
You're an adult?
I would. I mean, I'm more chill now that I'm older. There was a time where I'm like, how can this be a good show? How do you like this show? I don't understand it. And then I realized art is subjective, and if people put their heart and soul into it, I shouldn't be criticizing it all that much. But to me, it's no different than being a fan of The Last of Us. But
those aren't events, though.
Wrestling fans do kind of deserve the ribbing.
Such a good shout on that show. He couldn't have picked a better show. It's just a polarizing show. Some people really love it, and you're just like, why?
The Last of Us?
No. I'm talking about Big Bang Theory. Very polarizing.
I thought you were talking about The Last of Us too, which, by the way, season 1 was really scary, so I decided I'm not going to watch season 2, but I am going to lurk. I'm going to be aware of it.
It started strong. It's visually fantastic, and
it's a great show.
Everyone likes the acting. Yes.
It's a good show. I just finished that one, by the way.
And
season 2?
Oh, season 3.
Oh.
I have thoughts.
Can we talk about it now? Is the embargo?
Spoiler Wednesday?
Yeah.
It's Wednesday. White Lotus?
We can talk about the White Lotus.
White Lotus.
Right now. If you haven't caught up, like, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Like, it's very interesting to see how people like view the relationship of Walton Goggins' character a little bit, because there were some people that were really devastated by it. And as someone that kind of was just passively following it, I understand the trauma, but they did a lot of foreshadowing that this wasn't actually going to go anywhere, and it led to demise. So there are people that are really swept up in romanticizing it, and you can kind of tell some people have had trauma in their lives, and I get why they associate it that way, but I didn't think that this was like, it wasn't couples goals to me the way that a lot of people felt like it was.
No, the last part, 100% agree with you. Yeah. I was not really sold on the emotional arcs of several of the characters this season, simply because I just don't think the writing was as tight as the first couple seasons. Like, I think there was just not enough to make me really invested.
My appraisal toward the end of it was that they copped out, and if he'd gone totally dark with how beautiful, and again, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, if they had stayed with the only one who died amid the riches was the kid who was looking up at the Buddhists, like the artistry of all of that visually, if they had ended dark with death, that ending would have been beautiful. But instead, they just wrapped up all the storylines after that, including spa owner waves as if she's on a cruise ship, and they just sort of wrapped it up in a way that wasn't artful. That was my criticism of the end of it. But the journey of it, where that's the death that you get and the plot twist, I understand why everybody was, or so many people were watching that show, and then that the conclusion of it would be unsatisfying because why? Because they wanted different results? They wanted...
Would you say it was I don't think it was unsatisfying. I think it kind of delivered in that it gave you a moment to discuss.
Yeah.
And people can have their opinions as to whether or not it was good or bad, but I think everybody was there for the event. And in terms of like an appointment viewing event, the White Lotus finale did kind of deliver on that and giving you talking points.
It's a very entertaining show, and I just think that the characters in this season weren't the strongest, especially compared to the first 2 seasons, which were shorter seasons and shorter episodes and sort of delivered more of a punch.
I don't think it's that entertaining. I think it's intriguing. I think it's an intriguing show. But most weeks, I feel like nothing is happening.
It's easy to watch, though, because it's a mystery.
Can you be intrigued by something but not be entertained by it? Because I think entertainment is intriguing sometimes.
Well, yes.
Yes, like pro wrestling sometimes.
Yes, that is entertaining and intriguing.
But if you're intrigued, you must be a little bit entertained to be intrigued.
I'm interested. No, because I want to find out the mystery. I want to find out what's going to happen. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm entertained every episode. Some weeks I'm sitting there for 60 minutes like, oh, nothing happened.
Where's the entertainment line for you? Like, what crosses and you're like, now I'm entertained?
How intrigued do you need to be?
That's a good question. How intrigued do you have to be to cross over into entertain? Because Goggins is having a moment to have both of those shows going Sunday nights where he's the critical character. He's been, for all this time with McBride and others, he's been number 2. He's rising to a number 1, especially because on Gemstones, he's using a prosthetic of a 78-year-old penis.
That's amazing.
Can I get the sound of White Lotus creator Mike White telling his customers, you're not allowed to be a bossy bottom?
There was complaining about how there's no plot, and that part I find weird because it never had a like it's never been. It's like part of me is just like, bro, this is the vibe. Like I'm world building, you know what I mean? It's just like if you don't want to go to bed with me, get out of my bed. Like, you know what I mean? I'm edging you. You know, it's like, enjoy the edging. Like, if you don't want to be edged, get out of my bed. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, don't be a bossy bottom or get the fuck out of my bed. Like, don't come home with me. Don't get naked in my bed. Get the fuck out of my bed.
All right.
I love being edged by you, Mike.
Like, obviously, something's going to happen. I'm not going to just we're not
I'm not going to leave you here. I'm not going to leave you here with nothing.
Seems defensive.
Not a great moment for him. I mean, I like him. I used to watch him on Amazing Race and then Survivor, so I'm a big Mike White guy. I'm less interested, honestly, in his art than his reality TV appearances. But I mean, if you say the sentence "I'm world building," you kind of lose me.
Triple H had the exact same reaction to people criticizing the build of the WrestleMania main event.
I mean, it's like he had 2 good seasons. This one was a bit of a letdown for people. Like, that's fine. You don't have to get so angry about it.
I actually get a 4th one. So
I actually thought the 2nd and 3rd season were better than the first. Personally,
I don't know what the reaction was. Was it a polarizing reaction to both the ending and the entirety of the season? Were there a lot of complaints? Because popular thing growing, which is what this is, over 3 years, whatever it is, the more it grows, the more criticism it's going to get, no matter how good it becomes, until at the end Game of Thrones is falling apart because there's a Starbucks cup in one of the scenes.
Well, I mean, people were criticizing White Lotus on episode 3 this season. They were already out on it. They didn't like it from the beginning, and they were just kind of waiting for it to end to find what to complain about. On Mystery Crate, we were saying how the finale was a legacy episode for Mike White.
Mm-hmm.
Big episode for him.
And what was the conclusion?
Inconclusive.
Yeah, I think he can reel me back in with season 4. If season 4 is good, I'll be back in. I think the common criticism, Dan, was that the finale was unearned. It was just not. A lot of it was a little, predictable.
I found it predictable,
and that is a bummer because I think the first couple seasons, the way the characters die in the first 2 seasons are totally absurdist and unpredictable, and the way the characters died in this season was in a sad shootout at a resort.
Well, some of the stuff was rushed. Spoiler alert. He shoots his dad, and his dad went and yelled at him, and then the wife was like, "That was your dad," and it's
Should have told him.
We did
Should've
this in
told him.
Star
Wait a
Wars
minute.
like 40 years ago. Like it was that part. Yeah, it was just a little.
But we knew that he was going to be the dad.
We knew, but
right?
that's why the
From,
big
like,
reveal
episode
I
was.
did not. That was a surprise. to me.
What? Wait, what? Hold on,
He's gotta be
Chris.
the dad the whole
Wait,
time.
hold on, Chris. Walk us through the surprising moments of this season of White Lotus for you.
The lady saying he's your dad. He told me this morning. That part.
Well, what did you think? Who did you think his dad was?
I
who'd
thought
you
his
think
dad
that guy
had
was?
died. I thought that guy had killed his dad.
So did Goggins.
I mean, that's how it was set up the entire story.
All right. I need to stop everyone. Just please, and forgive me for doing this, just because I have to stop Jessica for a moment. I thought if something was a legacy game, whatever happened at the end of that couldn't be inconclusive.
It can't, like COVID tests. Sometimes, remember back in like the height of COVID, you'd go, you wait in the long line, they'd stick the thing up your nose in your car, you'd have to go like this, and then you have to tilt your head back, and then
your
you'd
brain
be
a little.
waiting around like, can I go on vacation? Can I not? Can I go to work? Can I not? And then it comes back, it's like inconclusive. You're like, how? How is this inconclusive? And it's like, well, they did it 14 times instead of 15 times, so we don't know if you have it or you don't. Same thing with the legacy game, legacy episode, inconclusive.
A legacy game has to be conclusive.
No, not always.
It
Not even
always-
soccer. It could be a tie.
Always. It's a legacy game. If it's a legacy game, if it's for your legacy, must be conclusive.
No.
Here, I think what the problem is, Dan. There was enough in the finale that we're not writing off the show completely. There
Yeah.
was enough moments.
Then it's
like,
not a
Carrie
legacy
Coon's
game.
monologue was a moment. There were other
That's fine.
small moments. Saxon having
Yeah.
his tearful look back at Chelsea after he realized
How
that
was he the one that grew the
he's
most?
soulless. Yeah, it's a great question.
The
There were-
weirdest part of the season.
there were
He's the only one
moments.
that left a better person than when he got there.
What brother would do that?
Yeah, that was a weirder part.
Which part?
I think his legacy moment was.
Did you guys
something
call
you
that
haven't
part too?
mentioned.
You guys saw that part coming?
Very predictable.
I mean,
yeah, there was like a ton of
Yeah.
foreshadowing that something weird was going to happen.
First
in the
episode, you're like,
scene of the
okay.
first
Yeah,
episode,
it's a ton of foreshadowing. Not that, though. Not that much. Not that much.
Mike White gave us enough.
Yeah.
that
I'll watch
we're-
season
We're
4.
willing to suspend the legacy conversation until season 4 ends.
Then it's not a legacy
But season 4 is
conversation.
definitely a legacy
No,
season.
you
We
It's
can
gotta
agree
be
on
good.
that.
You guys
It's
aren't-
gotta
got
be
it.
good.
Big bounce
You
back
guys are
season
doing
we
it
need.
wrong. You
Yeah.
guys, I don't understand how you're doing
Legacy.
this. It's
Legacy
no,
episode.
if it's a legacy thing, it ends. It's
Inconclusive.
No, it can't.
Sometimes.
No.
Have you ever had a medical exam? They're inconclusive all the time.
It's not a legacy medical exam. It's
Well,
just
I mean,
a medical
it depends
exam.
on what they're testing for.
You guys seen that Kanye tweet?